Okay, let's do this. This is we're going to do the lab for saving. So 4.7, chapter or unit 4, and the seventh one is called saving data. And at the very end of the book, or that chapter, the end of the chapter, there's a lab, and it's where we bring up the old emoji app that you had created, and we add the save to it. Now, you can actually, they give you the emoji, so these are the student files, and they give you the emoji app, so 4, 7, and lab, emoji dictionary. So I'm going to copy and paste this onto my desktop so I don't break it. And now I've copied and pasted the whole folder, the whole emoji dictionary folder, here it is, and I'm going to open up the Xcode project. Have a look. So they did a lot of work already for you here, so you don't have to recreate the wheel, but they do want you to create some save logic. So let's take a look at the instructions and see what they want us to do. And if you read this chapter, it talks about codable. So when you save objects to the gosh, my brain's not working. When you save objects to disk, when you save them to like the documents directory or file manager, you save them to your phone, then if it's a complicated object like a structure or a class, then you need to specify what each of the parts of the structure are. And you do that using this codable protocol. So the codable protocol, we need to implement that. So step 1, to persist your app's information across app launches, you need to be able to write its information to a file on disk. Start by making your emoji struct conform to the codable protocol and its declaration. So first we've got to look for the emoji struct and then make it conform to codable. So here in our Xcode project, I'm going to try to find the emoji structure. It's probably in here. Yep, here it is. Emoji structure. And to make it conform to that, I'm going to add an extension. And I'm going to extend emoji. So I'm adding to it, adding extra functionality, and I'm going to call it codable. Open and close curly braces. It's going to yell at me. Now, sometimes it'll automatically make things add like the text in here so that you can satisfy the codable protocol. But in this case, it's not helping us out any. It's just saying you can't. Decodable cannot be automatically synthesized in extension. All right, so fair enough. So what it's saying is we can't use an extension here. We'll put it up here. Codable. All right. Now sometimes it'll give me a red circle with a white circle in it, and that would be cool because then it'll help me fill in the requirements for making something codable. And I'm waiting for it. Still thinks nothing's wrong. Huh, well that's interesting. So actually codable doesn't have any, I don't have to do anything. I just say it's codable and it's codable. I don't have to satisfy any weirdness. So the next thing it says to do is to make a, let's see, it says, let me look at the instructions here. Start by making emoji struct conform to the codable protocol and its declaration. Okay, we did that. Remember you can implement saving and loading as static methods on the model. Okay, I'll remember that. Add the static method signature for a save to file function in the emoji class. Now this is interesting. Is there two different things? Are there two different things? Are there an emoji class and emoji struct? Because it's calling it a structure here and it's calling it a class down here. So what the heck's going on? Let's take a look. Well, this is a structure. Emoji table is a class. Table view controller is a class. Launch screen. Yeah, that's really interesting. I think what they mean is the emoji struct. So I'm going to leave it as a structure, and I'm going to make a function, it says, called save to file. And I'm going to open and close parentheses, open and close curly braces, and it said that it's supposed to take in emojis. Emojis plural. So what I'm thinking they want is an array of emojis. So I'm going to make an array of emoji. All right. And then it says add a static load from file. So I'm going to show you this. So it says save to file function should take an array of emojis as a parameter. That's what we did. Now add a static load from file method. It shouldn't take any parameters, but it should return an array of emoji objects. All right. I'll do what you say. So static, it said static load load emoji. What does it want? Load from file. Load from file. And it doesn't take any parameters, but it does return an array of emojis like this. Open and close curly braces. All right. Oh, static func load from file. Cool. All right, we did it. Now, I didn't return anything yet, so it's going to yell at me, but whatever. Shouldn't take any parameters, should return an array of emoji. In each of these methods, you either use a property list encoder to encode your emoji object or a property list decoder to decode it. But to write data to a file, you need to have a file path. Add a static property archive URL to your emoji class that returns the file path for documents/emojis.plist. If you need a refresher how to do this, go read it again. Nice. Nice. Thanks a lot, buddy. Okay, so first thing we got to do is find out where the documents directory is. Documents directory is where you store a lot of data for these iPhone, iPad apps. That's where you would store your saved data, like anything bigger than just settings or preferences. Settings or preferences can go inside of something called user defaults. That's a really easy way to save data. But now we're going to go into the documents directory. So I'm going to make the documents directory like this. I'm going to make a static variable, static var documents. I'll just call it documents for now, equals file manager.default.urls, and I'm going to hit tab so it fills in all this jazz for me. And I'm going to put a dot. Oops, it's in the user domain mask. And this first one is .documents, I think, document directory. And there's a lot of different documents in the document directory. We want to look at the first one, so I'm going to put dot first there. Okay. Then I'm going to make another constant this time, and the constant is going to be the archive URL. And technically, I think this should be lowercase d documents. Archive URL. And that's a new thing I'm making up. So, and the way we're going to make it is we're just going to take the documents and append path component. Append path component, quotation marks, emoji. So what this is doing, this one's giving us a location, like a URL, essentially, kind of. And the URL is the documents URL. And, well, not a URL, it's a path. Documents, I'll call it a path. Documents path. And then we get the path, and then we add this extra little emoji at the end. So it's going to be like the path/emoji. And that's where we're going to save our data to. What's it giving me a hard time about? Inferred to have type blank, which is may be unexplained. What if we make this an exclamation point? There we go. So you have to make this absolute, like for sure this path exists. I mean, if that path doesn't exist, then your app should crash. Okay, I'm gonna chill with that for now. Yeah, I don't know what this warning is about. It's saying that it inferred to have a type, a blank type, which might be unexpected. So I'm going to give it a specific type then. I'm going to say this is going to be a URL. So you can stop worrying about it. We're going to say this is URL, so stop yelling at me. Now what's its problem? Cannot convert the value of type blank to specific type URL. That's interesting. Oh, I see what the problem is. There's two different functions for this, and one of them is append path component, and the other one is appending path component. How fun is that? So now we can probably get rid of this URL business. Although it's kind of nice to know what it is, so let's leave it in there. All right, moving on, let's see what's next. I mean, we're not doing the right thing down here yet. We're not encoding or decoding stuff. We're not returning anything yet, but now we've got a path, archive URL path, and a documents path. All right, let's see here. We're using blah, 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 blah. In each of these methods, oh, wait a second. Let me make sure we're up to speed here. It should take an array of emojis as a parameter. Now add a static load. It shouldn't take any parameters, but should return an array of emojis. Done. In each of these methods, you'll need to use a property list encoder to encode. We already went over that. We don't know how to do that yet. We'll do it in a moment. Add a static property. We did that. That returns the file path for documents/emojis.plist. Now we didn't specify .plist, but I think it's going to be okay. Plist is a property list. It's like a little file with a bunch of data in it, like a little database. If you need a refresher on how to do that, now you have a path for saving your emoji file. Fill in the method bodies for save to and load from using emoji.archiveURL as the file path. Your save method should save the supplied emojis array by encoding it and writing it to emojis.archiveURL, and your load from file should read the data and decode it as an emoji array. Easy as that. All right, let's take a look at this. So how do we do this? All right. So let's try this out. ns keyed archiver ns keyed archiver dot archive root object, and we're going to pass the object is going to be emojis, which is being passed into this function. See, here's the emojis, to file. All right, so we're calling the emoji dot archive URL that we just made and dot path is like the string value of it. Is it going to yell at me? Okay. Let's leave it there for now. I don't know 100% that we're encoding things right yet. Now it should work if emojis are set up to encode properly, but we didn't really do any of that codable stuff. We didn't do encode with and decode with stuff yet, which we still have yet to do. So let's just keep plugging away with these save and load, and then we'll worry about encoding and decoding in a second. So the load one should be pretty much the same, except we're going to return. So here we go. So load from file, return ns keyed archiver, but instead of archive, it's unarchive, I think. Unarchive. Huh. Oh, it's not nskeyed archiver, it's nskeyed unarchiver dot unarchive with file. Unarchive with file. And then we're going to look at that path again. Emoji dot archive URL dot path. Now, we got to be specific here. Yeah, it's like going to yell at us. Can't convert return expression of type any to type emoji, insert as emoji. So I'm going to fix that. And so now it's inserting it as an emoji. Now what I don't like here is they threw an exclamation point in there. So if it tries to unarchive something and it's not an emoji, your app will crash. So I like to be very careful about not putting these exclamation points in. So I'm going to change the exclamation point to a question mark. And that's going to say, you know, there might be an emoji, there might not be an emoji, or an array of emojis, I guess I should say. But now we got a problem because we're saying it's supposed to return an emoji, so it's got to return an emoji. Well, what if we say it might return an emoji up here? Is it cool with that? Yeah, it's cool with that. Okay, so now when you load from file, it might return emojis, and it's going to check and try to decode them. And if it doesn't work, then it won't return anything. All right. Now, unless I'm mistaken, we called this thing codable, but we didn't adopt any of the protocols for codable. So that's really our next big step. I'm going to put the instructions aside for now because we got some work to do here. There's this thing. Let me look it up. Okay. So required, type in required convenience. I can't type that. I'll have to paste it in there because I don't know how to spell convenience. It's a hard word to spell. Init question mark. I did not commit this to memory. I'm looking at another screen. Coder, not cadre, coder. A decoder. A decoder. Colon. NS coder. And then open and close curly braces. So it's going to try to fix something for me. Nope, I don't want to fix that. Here inside of the convenience, it's going to yell at you a little bit while we're working on this. That's fine. We're going to put a guard statement in. We haven't done a lot of guard statements in class, but we're going to do that. Guard let symbol. You know, sometimes in Swift, you gotta roll with it. A decoder, decode object. Because we're going to decode not data, but a specific type of object for the key. We didn't define a key up there. So for now, I'm going to put temporary key in there. For key colon temp key. And we want to decode it as a string. Now we can also add some extra guards in here. So that's letting a symbol equal an object. And so let's just start with that. Okay, let's not get too crazy here. And at the end of this, you're going to want to put else return nil. Now, what this is saying is we're going to check to see if there's a symbol. And we're going to try to decode this symbol as a string. And if it doesn't work, then we're just going to return nothing. See, it's the init is question mark there. So that means like we might or might not return this emoji. All right. So now we got to use this whole self.init symbol, keyboard, colon, symbol. This is a big, weird mess, huh? Because that's going to give us all kinds of errors, because we didn't really do this in the right order. So symbol's got to be defined somewhere else. Where is symbol? Symbol's up here. But there's no init statement in here. That's interesting. So what if I add an init statement with the symbol in it? I think this might be why they wanted us to make this a class and not a struct. So let's put that up there. Let's see if it yells at us about that. You gonna yell at me? Undeclared type symbol. Oh, yeah, it's not a symbol type, it's a string type. Now you cool with that? What about down here? Okay, required initializer in non-class type emoji. Initializer and structs are not marked with convenience. Replace convenience with. Let's try that. Required initializer in non-class type emoji. I get the impression that in order for this jazz to work, this whole thing's got to be a class. All right, folks, let's make the change. We're changing a structure to a class. So up here, I'm typing class instead of the structure. And then I'm going to put convenience back in here. If I can ever spell convenience. Convenience. There, that's better. All right, now what? So now it's going to yell at me because I got to do all these things up here. Let me create the init statement and pause it for a moment. Yeah, now I gotta initialize all this stuff. Okay, here's the pause this screen, type this out. This is the initializer. I'm just initializing all of these. Now we got still a little problem down here. That's all right. We're working through it. We're working through it. So it's not a bad idea for us now to come up with property keys. So like, I'm just going to make a little structure in here and call it property key. And the reason you do this is just because like if we're going to append a component or we're looking for certain keys, it's best just to specify it in one place. That way, if you load or save from that one key, if there's a typo, it doesn't pull up empty. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just a little safer to do it this way. So we're going to make some static constants. Static let symbol equal, we'll just call it symbol. We'll just call it word for word, static. Name equal name. Okay. And so again, we're just putting like these are just strings and they're just keys. The keys that we're going to use to save and load symbols, names, details. That way if we try to load name but we accidentally capitalize N, it doesn't pull up the name as being empty because we're always referencing this property which points to this. I'm going to do another one too. I don't like having this pending path component be a string here. So I'm going to do static let emoji equal emoji. Oh, I gotta put property key in front of it. Property key dot emoji. Now it's pointing at this here. Okay, so down here, our symbols is going to be called property key dot symbol. All right. Now let's look at this error here. Let's see if we can't. We might have to do them all for it to work. But let's just stare at it for a while. Argument, labels, symbol do not match any available overloads. Okay. Well, honestly, I'm just going to ignore that for now. I'm going to ignore this one for a moment, and I'm going to keep working on this guard statement because maybe I need to put all of the, you know how we had to initialize all of these before it would work? And maybe I've got to do the same down here in this guard statement. So the next thing we're going to look at is the guard. So we did let symbol. Now we're going to do let name equal a coder or a decoder dot decode object, and it's going to decode for key. Property key, we're looking at the name now, and it's going to be as question marks string, also a string. The next one, let details equal a decoder dot decode object. Where is it? There it is. Decode object for key. Property name, property key, details. The last one, usage, a decoder dot decode object for key, property key dot usage, or else return nil. I could probably clean this up just a little bit, but you know, that's good enough for now. This else statement should probably be there. Okay, so now when we initialize, let's initialize all of them. Name will be name. This is called shadowing again. Details will be details. Usage will become usage. Now, are you cool with that? Detailed description. Where did I put that in? Oh, I see. I called it detailed description up here, not details. So let's put detailed description in there too. Let's just keep it the same. Oh, I forgot to put as string up here. And I forgot to put as string right here as well. All right, what are you thinking now, Swift? What do you think? Ooh, my errors went away. Glorious day. So this is the required convenience initializer for decoding things. Everyone, pause right here and copy and, not copy, but you know what I'm saying, like use this as a guide. All right, now it's time to make our encode function. That was the decode. So we'll start with a function, and we're going to call the function encode, and it's going to bring in a coder colon ns coder. It's not going to return anything. Now the example that I see has a width back here. I don't think that's necessary, but I'm going to put it in there anyways. All right, a coder dot. This one's going to be a little bit easier. Encode, and then we're going to encode the, so first we'll do the symbol, but we have to encode it for the key. So we can't just put it anywhere. It's got to be specifically have a key, and the property key that we gave the symbol is symbol. Okay, so there, let's look at this code. Encode the symbol for key. Now I'm going to copy and paste this 4 times because we have 4 bits of data, and then I'm going to make this one the name, and I'm going to make this one the detail description, and I'm going to make this one the usage. I'm going to change these property keys as well because we don't want it saved as the same key. And what's your problem? What's your damage? Did I Oh, this has got to be called detailed description also. This one too. Okay. That's what I get for trying to be creative, huh? So that's our encode function. And that function that's like part of this whole codable business. So now when you try to store stuff using the keyed unarchiver and archiver, it's going to look at this stuff and then try to figure out how to save and how to unsave it, how to unpack it, and how to pack it up. All right, let's go back to the instructions now. iBooks. Okay. Filled in this stuff. Load from file should decode it as an emoji array and return the array. Create a static load sample emojis method that will create and return predefined emoji collection. You can use the list assigned to emojis in emoji table view controller as your list of items. All right. Okay, load sample emojis. And it's going to return an emoji collection. This is getting a little bit this class is getting a little bit large for me. I think I want to see if it will let me split this up a little bit. I'm going to try to extend it. So I'm going to close the class up here. I'm going to add extension. I'm going to extend the emoji class down here. Now it might have a problem with some of this stuff being down below. Required convenience init. All right, we'll put this up in the top. See if that makes it happier. What about this one? This one probably will have to go on the top too. I'm just going to do that preemptively. Preemptive paste. All right. So now we've got like our emoji class basics up here, and we're adding some extended functionality. Actually, I think I want to put these variables up in the top too. I like to put variables and stuff right at the very top. Initializer, then encoding stuff. All right. Now we've extended it. We've got the save to, we've got the load from file. And then we want a new one called static function load sample emojis. And it's simply going to return emojis, but not just one, an array of them. Like that. Open and close curly braces, and then for now, just so it stops yelling at me, I'm going to return nothing. Okay. So now we've got to make an array of emojis. Well, this is going to be a big function. But all right, you know, that's what they want us to do. So I'm going to say, I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to call this my array of emojis. And I'll set it to, for now, I'll set it to nothing. Okay, it's blank, it's empty, enough. Array of emojis, now I'm going to say array of emojis dot append, a new element, and I'm going to append an emoji. I'm going to open my parentheses, and down here, hit the enter key, and it'll fill in all that jazz for me. So the symbol, I'm just going to put test for now, because that's not what I want yet. The name of this emoji, I'll call it name for now. I just want to get something in here to see if we can actually create an array of emojis. So, and this one, description, I'll just put description. And usage, it's also a string. All right, let's see if it's cool with that. Empty collection, literal requires an explicit type. It's going to be emojis, dude. Happy? Explicit member, constructor call, fix it. So I'm putting a little parentheses after there. Now it makes a blank emoji array. Now here it's upset with me. Oh, nope, it's not. Okay, it's cool with that. Okay, so this is how we're going to append all of our little emojis. So we can almost like copy and paste a bunch of these here. Let's start with 4 of them. And it says we can get that list of them from someplace, from the emoji table view controller. Emoji table view controller, here it is. Oh, look at all this stuff. Oh, look at that. This is already made for us, guys and gals. Just copy and paste this. Yeah. Copy. And I'm going to throw it in here. Boom! All that work is done. All right, so now we've got a list of emojis, and I'm going to return the list of emojis. Groovy. Well, that was easy, because I don't know how to type out this jazz. I have to look on the Google to figure out how to type an emoji. Let me pause it and figure that out for you. Inside of Xcode, if you go up to Edit, and then Emoji and Symbols, this is how you would insert an emoji. So that's how that's done, if you wanted to make your own emoji. So, very cool. All right, let's see where we are here. Boy, this is getting a little hairy. Why is it giving me a hard time here? What's it saying? It was never mutated. Just make it a let. All right, yeah, sure, Xcode, whatever you want. So we've got a list of emojis over here now, so we don't necessarily want it in 2 places. So we're going to go back over to the table view controller where we copied it from, and I'm going to delete all of this good stuff here. And instead, I'm just going to say, you know, emojis, you are going to be an array of emojis. Emoji, and initialize it by putting a little parentheses after it. Now it's an empty deal. It's kind of mad at me now, so let me figure out how to make it less mad at me. Oh, it figured it out. It's like, all right, yeah, do whatever you want, dude. Good, because that's what I'm doing. And that's in the instructions. It says update emojis to be initialized to an empty collection, and that's in this emoji table view controller. When the viewDidLoad method is called, you should check the document/emojis directory for any previously saved emoji objects using load from file. If they're found, assign them to emojis. If they're not, assign emojis to the result of load sample emojis. Okay. All right. So there's an if statement. We'll either load them from file or we'll load them from the samples. And that's going to be in viewDidLoad. All right. Let's find viewDidLoad. All right. viewDidLoad. You know, usually I like viewDidLoad at the very top. But for some reason viewDidLoad is down here below. I'm going to copy it and paste it up above. Command X is cool. Command X will delete it and copy paste it. So it deletes it and copies it to the buffer. So this is the old view did load, but we want to add some stuff to it. At the very top here, underneath super view did load, we're going to add. So they wanted an if statement. If let. So if let saved emojis and assign it to emoji dot load from file, that fancy thing we made, or else we'll load those sample ones. So emoji dot sample, load sample emojis. There it is. Oh, but we can't just execute the function. We have to assign, so we have to assign the result. So I'm going to put this, copy this emojis and put it down here. So assign emojis to the sample emojis, or emojis should be assigned to the saved emojis that we just returned, these ones here. Cool. Gosh, I wonder if this is going to work. It's looking good, looking promising. Let's see what the instructions say. Take a moment to think about when it might be appropriate to save your emoji objects. In this case, the central spot for your data is the emojis array on the emoji table view controller, which means it would be appropriate to call save to file whenever the emoji property is changed. So whenever emoji property is changed. Next, think about when it might be appropriate to load your emoji objects. In this simple case, there's only one point where the archive data will need to be unlocked when the view first loads. You should already be calling this method, and the view controller is view to load. We are. So all we got to do is figure out where to save it now. Let me look at this. All right, so this could require some thought, but I think, so whenever we edit things, then we want to save things. So there is a table view cell editing style delete. So delete, where's the delete thing? Oh, delete. Table view editing style delete. So if you delete a row, then we want to save something because the emoji's changed. So pretty much where we see the green here, emojis.remove, emojis.remove. Pretty much every time it says that, we want to update the save file. So I'm going to put in emoji dot save to file, and we want to save the emojis to file. Instance method of my save to file cannot be used. Let's go look at our save to file method there. Oh, well, I don't know why, but this one doesn't have static in front of it. So let's put static in front of it. And also, yeah, it should have this emojis colon, which it didn't have. That's interesting. So we'll go back over here. It's going to yell at me a little bit if I don't do that. Okay, now we got emoji, save to file. All right, so this is our whole line just to save the emojis. I'm going to copy this because I know I'm going to need it down here because we're inserting an emoji down here. And there's one other place, like, what if you go back to the main view? Yeah, down here. See emojis, append, emojis, this and that. Yeah, I'm going to put it down here too. I'm feeling like we should test this. Like maybe it will magically work. Build and run, that's Command R, or you can hit the play button, and let's see if we got this. All right, here's the app. And it looks like it already loaded. So it loaded the sample because we didn't save it, which is good. That means it loaded this stuff in, and I'm going to delete one of these. And it crashed. Cool. Let's see. Does not implement method signature for selector. Look at that. So let's stop this, and we'll go back to our emoji class and see what they want here. Okay, I spent the last 45 minutes working on debugging why my app was not working. So where we left off, when you go to build and run, what I was noticing is when it would load up okay, however, when I went to delete one of the rows, it would crash. Now it's just crashing to begin with. So ultimately, I think I've come to the realization what the problem is. In this emoji Swift file, to make it codable, or to make it encode and decode, I adopted the codable protocol, but I think it's got to also have this NS object. And I think instead of codable, let's just try the NS object and see if that helps. But instead of codable, I think it needs to be NS coding. So those are the protocols it needs to adopt. NS object, NS coding. Let's just see. Yeah, see, it's still crashing when you try to delete it. But now if you swap codable out for NS coder, or I'm sorry, NS coding, now let's try and build it. And boom, no problems. Deletes. If I can scroll properly. I think you can do this too. Yep. And you can even add stuff. So add a new emoji, these eyes. I'm going to give it a name. Eyes. Give it a description. Usage. Looking. I don't know. Hit return. Hit save. And here we go. We got a new one called eyes. So there you go. Hopefully that saves you a little bit of time. This NS object, NS coding, is the protocol you need to adopt for proper saving. Have a great day.